How did he get here?
I'm here to take you with me.
Hold your fire!
There was a time when science fiction ruled television, when rocket ships, alien visitors, and mysterious time tunnels filled American living rooms with wonder. The 1960s gave us some of the most imaginative shows ever made. But for every Star Trek or Twilight Zone that became immortal, there were 10 others that shined brightly, then vanished, cancelled, forgotten, erased from history. Today, we're counting down 10 sci-fi TV shows from the 1960s that were groundbreaking, fascinating, and then disappeared. So, grab your space helmets, set your coordinates for nostalgia, and let's begin. Point 1. My Favorite Martian, 1963 to 1966. Narrator, Ray Walston played Uncle Martin, a Martian whose spaceship crashes on Earth. Bill Bixby played the young newspaper reporter who takes him in, and hides his secret. It was part sitcom, part science fiction, a clever mix of alien technology and domestic humor. Uncle Martin could become invisible, read minds, and even retract his antenna. The chemistry between Walston and Bixby was the show's real magic. But My Favorite Martian found itself stuck between two worlds, too strange for sitcom fans, and too silly for sci-fi purists. CBS kept it alive for 3 seasons and 107 episodes, but by 1966, the concept had run out of gas. The series ended abruptly, no finale, no return to Mars, no answers. Syndication kept it alive for years, but when a 1999 movie remake tried to revive it, audiences weren't interested. Some ideas, it turned out, belonged only to their time. Point 2. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, 1964 to 1968. Narrator, created by Irwin Allen, this show took viewers deep beneath the waves aboard the submarine Seaview. The crew faced Cold War dangers, sea monsters, and even time travelers. The first season, filmed in black and white, was serious and suspenseful. But as color TV became the norm, ABC pushed the show toward fantasy. Suddenly, Seaview was battling giant octopuses and underwater civilizations. By season 4, budget cuts and reused footage made it painfully obvious the show was sinking. Yet, for a generation of kids, it was thrilling. In 1968, ABC pulled the plug mid-adventure. The Seaview sailed off into syndication, never sinking, but never surfacing again either. 3. The Prisoner, 1967 to 1968. Narrator, few shows were as bold, or as bizarre, as The Prisoner. Patrick McGoohan played a secret agent who resigns, only to wake up in a mysterious seaside village where everyone is known by a number. He's number 6. They want information, but he refuses to give in. McGoohan created and controlled the show entirely, designing it as a psychological puzzle about freedom, control, and identity. Viewers didn't know what to make of it. The final episode caused outrage for refusing to explain anything. McGoohan even received death threats from confused fans. But The Prisoner became a cult classic, inspiring shows like Lost, Twin Peaks, and Westworld. It didn't vanish because it failed, it vanished because McGoohan had said everything he wanted to say. 4. Land of the Giants, 1968 to 1970. Narrator, Irwin Allen returned, this time, with his most expensive show ever. A spaceship passes through a space warp and crashes on a planet where everything is 12 times larger than normal. The survivors, now tiny, must fight to stay alive in a world of giants. The sets were spectacular, enormous props, forced perspective effects, and giant hands grabbing miniature people. Each episode cost more than $250,000, a fortune for 1968, but even with good ratings, ABC couldn't afford it for long. After 2 seasons and 51 episodes, Land of the Giants was grounded. The cast was never rescued. No ending, no closure, just silence. It was the end of Irwin Allen's big-budget sci-fi dreams. 5. The Time Tunnel, 1966 to 1967. Narrator, 2 scientists trapped in time. A secret government project gone wrong. And one of Irwin Allen's most intriguing, but short-lived, series. Every week, Tony and Doug jumped to another era, the Titanic, Pearl Harbor, ancient Troy, always moments before disaster. But the show's ambitious concept relied heavily on old Hollywood stock footage. Battles were borrowed from films, and the same cave set appeared again and again. The result was repetitive and costly. ABC cancelled it after 1 season and 30 episodes. The finale? None. The scientists simply jumped into another moment in time, forever lost in history. 6. The Invaders, 1967 to 1968. Narrator, David Vincent knows that the invaders are here. Those words began every episode of this dark, paranoid thriller. Architect David Vincent witnesses a UFO landing. He tries to warn the world that aliens, disguised as humans, are infiltrating society. No one believes him. Each week, he came closer to proof, but never enough. The aliens left no evidence, disintegrating when killed. The show was a gripping Cold War allegory about paranoia and trust. But ABC cancelled it after 2 seasons and 43 episodes, leaving humanity's fate unresolved. Syndication faded quickly, but modern audiences rediscovering The Invaders appreciate its eerie tension, a sci-fi X-Files decades before the X-Files. 7. Lost in Space, 1965 to 1968. Narrator, before Star Trek, there was Lost in Space. The Robinson family was sent to colonize another planet, until the scheming Dr. Zachary Smith sabotaged their ship. The first season was serious and suspenseful, a true survival story in space. Then came the network's push for campy humor. Suddenly, the show was full of silly aliens, talking robots, and cartoonish plots. Danger, Will Robinson, became a pop culture catchphrase, but by season 3, the series had lost direction and funding. It ended mid-journey. The Robinsons never reached home, still drifting among the stars, just as the title promised. 8. Star Trek, the original series, 1966 to 1969. Narrator, no show on this list changed television more than Star Trek. But in its own time, it was a failure. Gene Roddenberry's Wagon Train to the Stars presented an optimistic future where humanity had evolved beyond war and prejudice. NBC, however, didn't understand it. Ratings were weak. The show was nearly cancelled after season 1. A massive fan letter campaign saved it, twice, but by season 3, NBC slashed the budget and buried it in a late-night timeslot. After just 79 episodes, Star Trek was cancelled. Yet through syndication, it became a phenomenon, spawning movies, sequels, and an entire universe. It was the most successful failure in TV history. 9. The Outer Limits, 1963 to 1965. Narrator, there is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. Those chilling words opened every episode of The Outer Limits, the darker, scarier cousin of The Twilight Zone. Each story explored the fear of the unknown, alien life, rogue technology, humanity's darker nature. But constant schedule changes and slashed budgets crippled it. ABC cancelled it after just 2 seasons and 49 episodes. For decades, it was nearly impossible to find. Then, in the 1990s, a revival introduced it to new audiences, who went searching for the original masterpiece that started it all. 10. The Twilight Zone, 1959 to 1964. Narrator, Rod Serling's Twilight Zone wasn't just a TV show, it was an education in imagination. In 5 seasons and 156 episodes, Serling used sci-fi, horror, and fantasy to explore prejudice, conformity, war, and morality. But CBS executives constantly interfered. They forced the show into an hour-long format for season 4, which nearly killed it. By season 5, Serling was exhausted from battling sponsors and censors. He ended it in 1964. But The Twilight Zone never truly ended. Syndication turned it into one of the most rewatched shows in history. Generations later, its lessons, and its eerie twist endings, still echo. 10 shows. Millions of viewers. They pushed the limits of imagination, and then disappeared. Some were too strange, some too expensive, others simply too far ahead of their time, but all of them left a mark, a glimpse into an era when television still dreamed big. Which of these 1960s sci-fi series do you wish had survived? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love rediscovering forgotten TV and lost history, hit like, subscribe, and join us here on the American Rewind, where we bring the past back to life, one story at a time.